Think you know what healthy eating looks like? Prepare to have your mind blown as I share the nutrition myths that nearly wrecked my health and the science-backed facts that saved it. From eat small meals throughout the day to fat makes you fat, we're tackling the biggest nutrition misconceptions that might be sabotaging your health goals. B6, B33. Have you ever followed nutrition advice religiously, only to find yourself feeling worse than before? I certainly have. 5 years ago, I was that person meticulously counting calories, eating 6 small meals a day, avoiding egg yolks like the plague, and wondering why I felt constantly hungry, tired, and stuck in a health rut. Sound familiar? What I discovered on my journey from misinformation to evidence-based nutrition changed everything about how I approach food and health. Today, I'm pulling back the curtain on the most persistent nutrition myths that continue to circulate despite solid scientific evidence to the contrary. When I first started my health journey, I fell victim to practically every nutrition misconception out there. I'd wake up and immediately reach for my fat-free, high-carb breakfast because breakfast is the most important meal of the day and fat makes you fat. I'd carefully portion out 5 more mini meals throughout the day because eating frequently boosts your metabolism. I'd choose diet products over whole foods because fewer calories must be better, right? Wrong. So, very wrong. The turning point came when my energy levels hit rock bottom despite doing everything right according to conventional wisdom. My skin was breaking out, my sleep was terrible, and despite all my efforts, my weight was creeping up. That's when I decided to dig deeper and look at the actual research behind these commonly accepted nutrition facts. What I discovered was eye-opening. Let's start with perhaps the most damaging myth. Fat makes you fat. This oversimplification led to decades of low-fat diets that ironically coincided with rising obesity rates. The truth? Dietary fat is essential for hormone production, nutrient absorption, brain health, and yes, even weight management. When I finally reintroduced healthy fats like avocados, olive oil, nuts, and even, gasp, egg yolks into my diet, something amazing happened. My constant hunger diminished, my energy stabilized, and my skin cleared up. The research backs this up. Multiple studies have shown that healthy fats increase satiety, help regulate blood sugar, and don't automatically translate to body fat. One landmark study published in the New England Journal of Medicine followed over 7,000 people and found that those eating a Mediterranean diet rich in olive oil and nuts had better cardiovascular outcomes and weight management than those on a low-fat diet. Next myth, eating small, frequent meals boosts your metabolism. I used to set alarms to remind myself to eat every 2 to 3 hours, convinced I was stoking my metabolic fire. In reality, I was creating a blood sugar roller coaster and never giving my digestive system a break. Current research shows that meal frequency has minimal impact on metabolic rate. What matters more is the quality and quantity of what you eat over the course of the day. When I switched to 3 properly balanced, satisfying meals, my energy stabilized and I stopped obsessing about food. For some people, intermittent fasting patterns have shown benefits for metabolic health, insulin sensitivity, and even longevity. Quite the opposite of the eat constantly approach I've been following. Here's another whopper. Calories in, calories out is all that matters for weight management. This oversimplification ignores the complex hormonal and metabolic responses different foods trigger. 100 calories of soda and 100 calories of salmon create vastly different hormonal environments in your body. When I stopped focusing exclusively on calorie counts and started prioritizing nutrient density and food quality, my relationship with food transformed. I began asking, what will this food do for my body, rather than how many calories is this? The result? More satisfaction from meals, better energy, and a more sustainable approach to eating. The science supports this approach. Research from Harvard has shown that the quality and type of foods matter significantly more for long-term weight management than simple calorie mathematics. Foods like refined grains and sugars can trigger hormonal responses that promote fat storage and hunger, while protein, fiber, and healthy fat support satiety and metabolism. Let's talk about another persistent myth. Egg yolks are bad for your heart. I spent years tossing perfectly good egg yolks down the drain, eating bland egg white omelets in the name of heart health. What a waste. Newer research has thoroughly debunked the connection between dietary cholesterol and blood cholesterol for most people. Egg yolks are actually nutritional powerhouses, containing essential nutrients like choline, lutein, and zeaxanthin that support brain and eye health. When I finally welcomed whole eggs back into my diet, not only did my meals become more satisfying and delicious, but my blood work actually improved. Multiple studies, including a 2018 analysis in the journal Heart, have found no association between moderate egg consumption and increased risk of heart disease. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Sound familiar? This mantra has been repeated so often it's taken as gospel. But the truth? This advice originated from cereal companies in the early 20th century, not from scientific research. While breakfast works well for many people, there's nothing magical about early morning eating. When I stopped forcing myself to eat when I wasn't hungry in the morning and instead listened to my body's natural hunger cues, my energy improved throughout the day. Some research even suggests that extending your overnight fast occasionally may have metabolic benefits. The key is finding an eating schedule that works for your lifestyle and body, not following arbitrary rules about when you should eat. Another dangerous myth. Natural sugars are much healthier than added sugars. While whole foods containing natural sugars come packaged with fiber, vitamins, and minerals at slow absorption, sugar itself impacts your body similarly whether it comes from honey, agave, maple syrup, or table sugar. My revelation came when I realized my healthy smoothies packed with dates, bananas, and honey were blood sugar bombs that left me crashing hours later. Learning to moderate all sources of concentrated sugars, while appreciating the nutritional context of whole fruits, was a game changer for my energy levels and cravings. The American Heart Association recommends limiting added sugars to 6 teaspoons for women and 9 teaspoons for men daily, regardless of whether those sugars come from natural sources or not. Low-fat products are healthier choices. This myth cost me years of eating processed, sugar-laden foods that left me unsatisfied and nutritionally depleted. When manufacturers remove fat from foods, they typically add sugar and chemicals to improve taste and texture. Full-fat yogurt, for example, is more satisfying and often contains less sugar than its diet counterparts. When I finally ditched the fat-free products and embraced whole foods with their natural fat content, my satisfaction from meals increased dramatically while my cravings decreased. Research has caught up too, with studies showing that full-fat dairy consumption is associated with lower rates of obesity and diabetes than low-fat versions. Here's one that persists despite mountains of evidence. Carbs are bad for you. Just as fat was demonized in previous decades, carbohydrates have become the dietary villain du jour. The truth is much more nuanced. Carbohydrates from vegetables, fruits, legumes, and whole grains provide essential fiber, nutrients, and fuel for our bodies and beneficial gut bacteria. My energy, athletic performance, and digestive health all improved when I stopped fearing carbs and instead focused on choosing high quality, minimally processed sources and balancing them appropriately with proteins and fats. The research consistently shows that populations consuming whole food, plant-heavy diets rich in complex carbohydrates tend to have the lowest rates of chronic disease and highest longevity. The nutrition world is filled with absolutes and extremes, but human health rarely operates in black and white. The most valuable lesson I've learned is that nutrition science is complex and constantly evolving. What works perfectly for one person may not work for another due to genetic differences, that microbiome composition, lifestyle factors, and personal health history. The path to lasting health isn't found in rigid food rules or the complete elimination of food groups. It lies in developing a flexible, evidence-based approach that honors your body's unique needs while being open to adjusting as those needs change. So the next time you hear definitive nutrition advice, remember to question it. Look at the quality of evidence behind it, and most importantly, observe how your unique body responds. Your best guide to what works for you is right there in how you feel, perform, and thrive. If you've struggled with nutrition confusion or found yourself believing any of these myths, you're not alone. Let me know in the comments which nutrition myths surprise you the most, or there are others you'd like me to address in future videos. And if you found this information helpful, click subscribe to join our evidence-based health community, where we separate nutrition facts from fiction.